We've managed to reconnect with Todd Battis. He is joining us from Nova Scotia this morning. He is on the phone with us. Todd, last night you had mentioned this on the National that, in communities that are very small, this happens. You happen to know the suspect. You graduated high school with him. What more can you tell us about him?
Yeah, I thought it was important to make that statement that I knew him, out of transparency, right? I mean, this is a small region down here. The connections are pretty close, so it's not all that surprising that one might have a connection with somebody. And as the day goes on, and these stories of these victims come out, we're going to find, because there are simply so many, that in this region, I think you'll find almost everybody will have some sort of connection or will know somebody who has a connection to those victims, and the focus should be on the victims, and it will be. But, I knew the shooter. We grew up together in Riverview, New Brunswick. We graduated high school the same year. He was a decent teenager. He was a bit of a goofball. Obviously, something happened in the intervening years, and, I guess we'll perhaps never know the motivation or what drove him to commit this horrible, horrible act. The one thing I will say is that next to his photo in the yearbook, in the little write-up that we all have on those, the last line, Anne-Marie said, maybe one day he'll join the RCMP.
And Todd, obviously these are threads that the RCMP will be looking at in their investigation today. There's so many crime scenes spread over several kilometers and various communities. Where does the investigation go this morning? The superintendent of the RCMP in Nova Scotia, the chief superintendent, Chris Leather, said something interesting last night, and he said that this is an investigation that will span the province, and there are numerous locations, which led us to believe that there are spots that perhaps we don't even know of yet. I think it's fair to say there were 3 properties that were set on fire, and he said to us last night that they hadn't been able to sort of clear all those properties. Maybe in the time after that news conference, which was held last evening, they were, and that brought the total up to 16. But it certainly could be much more. And you're right, because there were events in this hunt yesterday over 150-kilometer area, corridor, they're going to be at this for quite some time. Well, you're the second reporter to tell us that this morning, that there could potentially be even more victims in this case. Todd Battis, thanks for joining us from Nova Scotia today.
Thanks, Emery.